learners are going to love today's video because instead of just blabbering to you about a strategy and sending you off on your way, in today's video, we are going to be building from scratch 5 different ThinkorSwim strategies. I will be including different indicators and or price action calls so that by the end of this video, you will understand how to translate any trading strategy into ThinkorSwim. Let's get started with a moving average strategy. So with this first strategy, I'm going to take a moment to sort of explain how scripting works, and we're going to have to get descriptive a little bit more in detail about how you build code specifically. Then, of course, in the latter strategies, we'll have already covered that, so we'll get through them a little bit faster. First off, within ThinkorSwim, which if you don't know, this is now Charles Schwab's active trade software. It's completely free. You do have to have a brokerage account with Charles Schwab, but you don't even have to put any money into it. There's no fees. There's no commissions. If you want to download this so that you can use it even just as a backtesting tool, obviously feel free. I'm not affiliated or anything like that. But if I come into studies, edit studies, go to strategies, make sure you go to strategies, because if you just hit create, you'll create an indicator. We, of course, are talking about strategies today, so we're going to jump into this. And this is where I want to jump into the sort of first conversation about how scripting works. I want you to think of ThinkScript, which, if I haven't covered yet, is the language that we are going to be using. ThinkScript is building Legos, and all the Lego pieces already exist. This is not coding. We do not need to tell the machine necessarily what it should be thinking. The machine already has an idea because this ThinkScript language is built within ThinkorSwim. So all of the coding of the studies and or the price action has already been created on the back end. For our metaphor's sake, the Lego pieces already exist. So when you think about ThinkScript, I want you to think about a giant bucket of Legos sitting in front of you. It is your job then to decide which Lego pieces you want and to construct them into a trading strategy, right? We're going to talk about this add order function in a little bit later, but I'm going to push it down for now. This actually, you know what? Let's touch on it now. This is the foundation. Think of the big flat foundation of a Lego set. This is what you're going to build on top of, and this is the part that actually links directly to the application. This is the method that is going to actually place the buy or sell orders. Once again, separate conversation here, but ThinkScript in this, what we're going to be doing today, is not actually going to take trades for you, right? If I go back over into my code example that I showed, it doesn't actually place these trades. It just shows you, based on the strategy that I have created here, where it would enter or exit so that you can pull this sort of backtesting information and then you can further optimize the strategy to make it work as best as possible, right? So don't worry when you're creating these strategies about, it messing up or taking the wrong order, how it's going to affect your portfolio. It's not going to do any of that. Anyway, we've got our add order flat foundation Lego piece. Now we need to grab the Legos out that we want. In coding or in scripting in this sort of language, this is called calling. We need to call in what we want to use. And in the first strategy we're building, we'll do 4 more after this, we're going to be using simple moving averages. So to do this, I'm going to do a define, and then this is just the name of what I want to define. I can call it whatever I want. I'm going to call it the Shoopy, just for example's sake here. Define Shoopy as simple moving average, open, close parentheses, and then what is this called? A semicolon, so that the line of code is ended. Okay, simple moving AVG with open and close parentheses. This is a piece, this is a Lego block, right? This is a already existing piece of code that is built within ThinkorSwim. We don't have to tell the machine, we don't have to do the simple moving average calculation in our code. That already exists. We just have to call it in. And whenever you call in an already existing study or a piece of price action, as you'll see later, you have to have these parentheses because there are parameters that exist with that code. If I go ahead and save this, if I go into the simple moving average settings here, you will see there are inputs: price, length, displace, show breakout signals. Those are the parameters of the Lego block. I'm going to keep calling them Lego blocks. We're going to go back and forth on this metaphor a little bit. Do your best to stick with me. And within this parameter, within this parentheses, sorry, I'm throwing myself off. I asked you to stick with me. I'm trying to stick with myself here. Within these parentheses, you can call any of those parameters. So in our instance, we are using a 9 and a 20. That's the strategy I want to build. So I want to change that length parameter. Within the parentheses, I'm going to type length equals 9. In the Lego block, in the code snippet that we called, we changed the parameter. Let's go ahead and define another. I'm going to call this one boopty. I almost called it, I want to type in booby and booty and all these other things. I want to type in boohie as simple moving average length equals 20. Close parentheses. Get that semicolon in so that the program knows that the line of code is over. Now we have our Lego pieces. The Lego pieces have been brought to the building table. The segments of code that we want to utilize inside of this trading strategy have been called into the new strategy modal. Great. Now, within our add order function, recognize this also has these parentheses, right? As this is the same exact thing. This is an existing code snippet. Understand that this is really easy stuff once you get past sort of the understanding level of it, because you don't have to dive into the level of how do I tell the machine to take the trade. That already exists. The add order function already exists. You just have to build the script within it. So this parameter is order type. I'm going to change mine to buy to open rather than buy auto, because I want my buys to be opening trades. And then this is the condition. It is defaulted to no, which just means if I hit apply, nothing's going to happen. I want if Shoopy, which is our, you know what, I'm going to go back and rename these or this is going to get really confusing. This is a fast moving average, so I'm going to call it FMA. This is a slow moving average. I'm going to call it SMA. If we keep this Shoopy and Boopty or whatever the hell I called them, I'm going to confuse myself. What I'm going to do here, if the fast moving average crosses above the slow moving average. That's your condition. Guess what? If I hit apply now and we go ahead and back out, the first time that happens, you should see a buy order, which you do. That now is taking a trade because the fast moving average, length equals 20 SMA, crosses above the slow moving average. Length equals 9 SMA, crosses above the slow moving average, length equals 20 SMA. Now, obviously, we want to also exit trades sometimes. So I'm going to create another add order function. This one, of course, is going to be a sell to close order type. And then we are going to do when the SMA crosses below the FMA. When the 20 SMA crosses back below the 9 SMA. If I hit apply, and go ahead and get out of these modals, you will now see trades being placed on the chart where they are expected to, correct? Actually, why is this not correct? What did I do? This is where we do a little bit of a code fix before SMA. Oh, what am I doing? The FMA crosses below the SMA. Duh. I switched both in my head. When the 9 crosses below the 20. Important to do. A little bit of code debugging live for you there. Now you see the trades actually being placed, right? Entrance, dotted line means you are in a position. Exit. When the fast moving average crosses above, enter. Fast moving average crosses below, exit. That's our first strategy. Really simple. And I wanted to use this as really the building blocks for the understanding of how this scripting works. Let me touch on one more thing, actually. And in later codes, we're going to get a little bit more complex as well. We're going to sort of build complexity as we go through these code examples. But I just want to let you guys know that I knew that was called simple moving AVG, because if I Google search simple moving average ThinkScript, it's going to bring me, the first result is going to be this ThinkorSwim Learning Center. And if you click on this is a free, obviously, website, and it's fully encompassing of all of the building blocks, all of the Lego pieces that you can call in to your ThinkScript code. This gives you the name of it. That's how I knew it was simple moving AVG. Of course, you have the open and close parentheses after this, and then it defines the parameters that you can call and modify within those parentheses. Hopefully all of that made sense. It's the first strategy here. I wanted to, like I said, really take a moment to explain the basics of ThinkScript, what we're getting at here, give you guys a simple strategy. Hopefully now you have the metaphor in your head. All the Lego pieces are in front of you. Your job to take them out, put them together the way you want, and hopefully all that makes sense. As I'm going through any of this, as always, any questions, ask me in the comment section down below. I read all of them. Anyway, let's jump into strategy number 2 and work on even slowly building some more complexity into this. All right, let's go ahead and jump into strategy number 2. This time, we're going to build around the RSI indicator. Once again, studies, edit, studies, strategies, create. Go ahead and give us some room above of our add order. Once again, Lego Foundation. And let's define a buy equals RSI. Remember, this is our Lego block. This is the study that we're calling. So open, close parentheses. And let's define this buy as the RSI is greater than 50. And let's do a little bit of, once again, I talked about adding complexity, and the close, which is the closing price of the current bar, is greater than simple moving average length equals 200. We've already talked about simple moving averages. Now let's carry that knowledge into the next bit of code. So you can use conditional formatting and or to sort of put together conditions within a buy or sell definition, right? So this is sort of building the Lego pieces together before even needing to add them to the foundation. So when the RSI is greater than 50 and the current closing bar is above the 200 simple moving average, we will buy. Let's define a sell when the RSI goes less than 40. This is a continuation strategy. We want to buy a strong RSI. We want to sell a weak RSI. Now in our add order, once again, I'm going to switch this to buy to open. I'm going to have the condition be set to buy. So last time we built the buy condition directly into the add order. This time we've already built sort of the buy condition up here. So we're going to call that in to our add order function as the buy parameter just by placing the name of it in. Just once again, building complexity, building out some coding knowledge, showing you guys some different type of ways you can do this stuff. And then we're going to add a, once again, sell to close, comma, sell, close parentheses, why do I keep forgetting what this is called? Semicolon to end the load, to end the line of code. Go ahead and type that in. You now see when the RSI, let's go ahead and turn on a simple moving average as well, just so we get a glimpse. And this is sort of obviously how you test that your code is working the way you want it to. Here, RSI is at 58, crosses back above the 200 simple moving average, gets in. The RSI doesn't cross below 40. Let's actually do that as well. Let's come into our RSI settings here, and let's make our overbought 50 and our oversold 40 so that we can clearly see. Over 50, above 200 SMA in. It doesn't get below 40 until all the way up here. Exits. Nice. It then also broke back above 50 on the RSI here. So it is back in and currently in a trade. Really nice. Let's add one more layer of complexity to this strategy even. Let's also add a short. I'm going to short if the RSI is less than 30 and if it's below the simple moving average length equal to 200. And I'm going to cover if the RSI gets above 40. So now, similar situation, but in the other direction. I didn't type. I forgot the AVG. But in the other direction, we can now enter shorts and cover our positions as well. What does that mean for our add order? Our add order, our order type is now going to be a sell to open, right? Because when you short a stock, you are selling it to open a trade. And then, of course, vice versa, our cover is going to be a buy to close, and that is going to be cover. This needs to be Got chatting. This needs to be short, not sell. Our short is a sell to open. Our cover is a buy to close. If I hit apply, you should now see that also transcribing on the charts where requable. So here, RSI got below 30, below the 200 SMA, got short, got stopped out when the RSI bounced back above 40. Working as expected. Here's a nice short during COVID. I'm looking at the SPY daily here. Got short, RSI broke below 30, below the 200 SMA, got out when the RSI broke back above 40. Nice. Cool. So now you can see how you can place both longs and short trades and how you can have different buy conditions all within the same block of code. And we learned a little bit about conditional formatting, and we learned a little bit about price action calls. We'll talk more about those later. Next, I want to get out of the sort of using indicators land and talk about some price action trading strategies. And I want to talk about building stop losses. Let's do both of those things in this next strategy we create. Give ourselves some room above our add order again. We're going to define our buy as when the closing price closes above the, and this is going to be a new call for you, the highest close of the last 5 bars. And also, we're going to put in this little open brackets, 1 close brackets. This means the highest close of the last 5 bars based off of last bar's reading. The open and close brackets goes, if you use a positive number, is a displacement for number of bars back. So if I were to do something like define X equals RSI from 5, this will return to you, or it will define the RSI value from 5 bars ago. You can also give it a negative, if you do it within the brackets. This would give you 5 bars in the future, which you should almost never use. There's very rare cases in which I might need to call a future bar. But of course, you don't want to make a habit of that because you can't actually know future bars in real time. So what we're doing here is we're looking at the buy when the current bar closes above the highest price of the last 5 bars based off of the last value. Because of course, if this wasn't here, it would never buy, because even if this bar broke the highest point of the last 5, it would be included in the value of this. So it would not actually be above, right? That's why we take the value from like that. Let's define our sell. Let's define a sell as the RSI. Here, let me do this. Let me do RSI greater than 70. That's going to be our lock profit or our sell. That means that also in our buy, I'm going to type in and the RSI is less than 70, right? If we want to sell, if we want to lock profit, if the stock gets too exaggerated to the upside and lock in when the RSI gets over 70, we want to make sure that we include that in our buy, that we don't buy if the RSI is already over 70, right? Just a little inclusion reversion there for you, if that makes any sense. But I also want to build a stop loss into this. RSI over 70 is our profit take, or remember I talked about you can use and, for lack of a better term, or, and, or. You know what I mean, conditional formatting. Or if the close breaks below the lowest low of the last 5 bars based off of last bar's value. So in this strategy, we are using some price action calls, close and highest and lowest and low. So let me talk about that for a second. Whenever there's a candlestick, you get 4 data points, right? You get open and close, and you get high and low. And with any of those, you can call them in. So if I define an O, I can call in open. And with price action, you don't have to have the parentheses. You can have the parentheses. It doesn't matter either way. Maybe I should just have them in here to continue the simplicity of the metaphor of grabbing the building block, the Lego block, right? But you can do you can do open, you can do close, you can do high, or you can do high, or you can do low. All 4 of those data points can be called into ThinkorSwim as well, with obviously also the highest and the lowest, and we'll even get into maybe a couple of more in the next 2 strategies as well. So let's go ahead and jump down to our add orders. You should hopefully start to understand how these work by now. Our buy to open is going to be buy, and then our add order type sell to close. And I'm going to even add a little bit more functionality into these as well. Let's continue adding complexity to the codes as I'm teaching you here. So let me just show you this. A major restraint of ThinkorSwim is that it's going to be difficult here, but the order doesn't execute, like the code doesn't run until the next bar. You may be able to realize that here. This is the bar that breaks the highest point of the last 5, but it doesn't execute until this candle here, right? And then when it sells, this will be the candle. If I turn on RSI real quick, if I had to guess, this will actually be the candle. Yes, this is the candle that closes above 70, but it doesn't execute until the next candle. It's just like a limitation of ThinkorSwim. It's when the code runs at candle close, so then it won't execute until the close of the next candle. But the second parameter, once again, let's go back into our list here. The second parameter of open, what's it called? Add order, it's called, not open order. Of add order, if I search in the ThinkScript help guide, the third parameter type condition, which we have been using, is price. You can define what price you want the strategy to enter at. And this is useful in a lot of different situations, especially for intra-bar buying, because once again, the strategy won't run until candle close. But in this instance, I'm going to set the price to close. When I do this, watch what happens to this sell condition right here. It moves it so it still executes on this candle, right? You can't make it not execute on that candle. Well, you sort of can, but that's for another video, or maybe it doesn't even matter. It's still going to execute on this candle, but if you notice the price sort of hovering above this close now, it's actually exiting at the close of this candle. So it still represents the correct price. Same here. This is now not executing. This one's a little harder to tell because it's so close to the same price. But if you can sort of tell here, it's not executing at this bar's close. It's executing at the previous bar's close, just to give you a more correct representation of when the strategy is actually correct on the entrance and exit price. Anyway, hopefully that wasn't too confusing. What was that? Strategy number 3? 2 more to go. Next, we're going to build a MACD strategy because this brings up another level of complexity within our codes. If you can notice here, the MACD has multiple different values going on within the same indicator. And this strategy will teach you how to pinpoint, how to grab, remember, the correct Lego pieces to build the type of strategy you want. For us, we want to build a MACD crossover strategy. When the blue faster line crosses above the yellow pale-ish slower line, we want to enter and exit, vice versa. But for this instance, once again, if I go into strategies, we can't just do define by equals, how would you do it? MACD crosses above MACD. That, of course, doesn't make any sense. So what we need to first understand is what are those values called? If I come into my cog here, I can see, hey, the cyan, down here in plots, the cyan line is called value. That is the plot of the cyan line. And the palish yellow colored line is called AVG, standing for average, but it's named AVG. Perfect. So now we understand the faster line we want is value. The slower line we want is AVG. So you call those in as constants attached to the Lego block. Think of it like a attachment, like a Call of Duty attachment on your Lego block here. You got a silencer on your MACD. This video is too long. I'm ranting now. I'm going a little crazy. What did I even say? The cyan line is value. So MACD dot value. We are now calling that number, right? You've got like 4 different data points all inside of one study now. When you put the dot constant and name of the plot on the end of the Lego piece like this, that's how you specify which value you're talking about crosses above MACD.average. We're, of course, going to do the opposite for cell, MACD.average. Value. I did this before, too. I want to flip everything when I should just flip the greater than or less than. By the way, I should speak on this quickly, too. Earlier, I used crosses above and crosses below. That's one and the same with greater than and less than. So there's, once again, just another different way you can code this, whatever makes the most sense to you, right? So now come down to our buy to open. We're going to have this set to buy. I want it to buy at the closing price of the current candle, remember? And then order type sell to close. And I want to, I don't know why I backspaced that, sell at close, bada bing, bada boom. If I hit apply and apply, you should now see yeppity doo-dah. When the cyan line crosses the yellow line, it enters at the close of that candle. When it crosses back below, it exits, look here, at the close. It's executing on this candle, but the value, this arrow, is at the closing price of this candle. So even though it's executing a candle late, still gathering the correct data for you. All right, for the fifth strategy, I want to utilize some more price action. I want to go over some more examples of calling candle data points, and I want to go over an example of that price within the add order function that I touched on in the third strategy. So strategies create, we're going to define our buy as when the high, once again, open, close, high, low, 4 data points you can call. I will use the open and close parentheses just so we keep it constant, but for the candlestick data point, you actually don't need the open and close parentheses, but we're grabbing our high Lego piece is greater than, what do I want to buy it then? Let's use highest again. When the highest, it breaks the highest high of the last 10 candles based off of the value of the last time that happened in that line of code. And then we're going to define a sell as the, what do I want to do here? Let's just kind of do like we did before. RSI is over 70, or if the RSI is under 40. And then once again, let's just transcribe these things. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to go, and RSI is not greater than 70, or RSI is not less than 40. I'm going to put these in the parentheses so that they are part of the same and condition, right? Okay. Buy when the high breaks the highest point of the last 10 bars based off the last value, and the RSI is in the RSI. Sorry, I need to revert these. This is why you read through your code while you're doing it. And the RSI is less than 70, or the RSI is greater than 40. So sort of when you begin to get a price action break, but still on a not stretched chart is what we're looking for here. Hopefully we even get buy conditions with this. We might need to come back and change this, but we're going to go down to our add order. This is what I really want to talk about with this. Our buy to open, set to buy. This is our order type. This is our condition. Third parameter is price. Something I want to touch on here. Notice when I was doing the simple moving averages, if you go back and watch strategy number 1 that we built, I typed in length equals 20. Notice that I'm not defining the parameters here. That is because they are in the correct order. The order of the parameters of the add order function goes type, condition, price. That is what the computer is expecting. So if you are using your parameters in that order, if I go back into this, type, condition, price, you don't have to type in order type equals, condition equals, price equals. The computer will read that left to right. The only reason you type in the name of the parameter is when it's out of order, so that the machine recognizes that it should be read as that parameter. Did any of that make sense? If it didn't, once again, comment section, ask away. I'll do my best to help you out if I can. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. Okay, here, price. I want to buy when it breaks the highest point of the last 10 bars. So instead of just putting close here, I'm going to put, let's buy whatever the highest price of the last 10 bars based off of last value is. Because I know this is only going to execute when this is true. So I know that it will have broken this value, and I want to buy at that value rather than waiting for the candle to close, the code to execute, and then enter. I want it to go back. It will still do that. It still won't show in real time. Recognize that when you're looking at code in real time, it won't actually execute until the close of the candle. But remember, this is for data gathering, not for placing real trades. So that's fine as long as it places the trade at where you want the data to be gathered, which in this instance, I want to buy whatever the highest, whatever that value is. Because in real time, like when I take this strategy to real life, not that I'm going to, please, this is all for example's sake, but I would buy in this instance that highest point. So I want my data collection to be there as well. Just went ahead and added in our sell order. Let's see if this does take any trades. Oh, it does. Nice. So when you break the highest point here, you can see the highest point of the last 10 bars here is this. Guess what? It breaks on this candle, right? It breaks here, but it doesn't buy the close of this candle, right? Like normal, it's not waiting until the close of this candle to buy. It is buying at the highest point of the last 10 bars. Let me show you actually one more bit of complexity here that you can do within your codes. I'm going to type a plot here. So I've been using define as everything. If I type in plot and then I go highest high of the last 10 bars, of the last value of it, you should now see, oh, I have to give it a name. Plot X equals highest high of the last 10 bars. You will now see a plot of that. If I get rid of my hand-drawn line, it is now showing you on the chart, hey, here is the highest point of the last 10 bars based off of previous value. So you can now see here when it breaks it. Once again, it doesn't execute until like the close of this bar, and it doesn't show until the next bar. All of that's a little annoying. It's just ThinkorSwim functionality that we have to live with. But it is entering at the correct price, at the break price, which is where we would enter in real time, which is the data that we want to be showing in the report of this strategy, right? Wow, this strategy is up $35,000. We are looking at the SPY daily chart. You can plug any strategy on this thing and make money over the past 35 years, right? But anyway, that is how you use the price condition or price, what am I trying to say? Price parameter within the add order Lego block in order to make more realistic entrances like that instead of always waiting for the close of the candle. If you made it through this whole video, you're obviously very dedicated to learn coding within ThinkorSwim. So on my website, daytradingstrategies.net, where you can access over 45 different already existing, be it strategies, be it indicators, be it scanners, codes within ThinkorSwim. If you use discount code END on my sign up page, you'll get your first month for only $15. Cancel at any time under the My Account tab. Daytradingstrategies.net. Link at the top of the description down below. Go over there, use the coupon code, and become a better trader today.
Trading stocks. He talks about trading stocks. It's important for you Americans and other international individuals to learn about stocks.